Hello again. This video I thought I'd run through a few questions that I've been getting asked by email and private messages on Facebook and so on. Always try to answer questions individually to people, but sometimes it's quite a nice idea just to get a few of those common questions and just do them as a video response for get it to a wider audience. Okay, let's start with a question that I get asked all the time. I've got a guitar. Can you tell me what it's worth? Now, when I say I get asked this question all the time, I mean, every week I'll get quite a few questions along the same lines. I've got this guitar, what's it worth? And this is a difficult one to answer because I'm not sure where you are. Sometimes you tell me, sometimes you don't. But the fact is, the guitar market is different in different parts of the world, even different parts of the same country. I know the second-hand market down in London is different to what the second-hand market for guitars is up here in the northeast of England where I live, and it's going to be completely different if you're over in the United States or Canada or wherever. And that's without taking into account things like exchange rates. My perception of what a pound or a dollar is worth is probably different to yours because of things like currency differences. So really, if you want to know what your guitar's worth, your best bet is to look around and see if you can find something similar on sale near to you, because if you're looking to sell your guitar, that's probably the best guide to seeing if you can find something similar, because that tells you what the market is worth, what the market worth of your guitar is near where you live. If you are going to ask somebody's opinion on the value of a guitar, though, give as much information as possible. I do get countless emails which are I've got a make or model guitar, what's it worth? I don't get any information about age or condition or anything like that. If you've got a serial number on the guitar, it's not too difficult to track down a bit of information by doing some research online about how old it is. The different manufacturers have different codes for how they make up a serial number, whether there's the prefix of it or you take the first and the fifth digit, some combination will give you the year. You do a bit of research online, you can find out a bit more about the guitar, about its age and so on. But when you're describing a guitar and you want to get an idea of value, you need to give as much information as possible. How old it is, what sort of condition it's in, is it all original or has there been some parts replaced, replacements, what's it been replaced with, that sort of thing. And if you're asking this question because you think your guitar might be worth quite a lot of money and you want to insure it, on a specific insurance policy, you don't ask some random guy that you found on the internet. Find a specialist local to you who can have a look at the guitar and give you a proper appraisal. For something that's really important, do the job properly. Don't just ask some guy off the web. Okay, next up is a question I get now and again. Here's a good example of the sort of thing I get asked. My son seems keen to take up the guitar. What would be a good starter guitar and electric for him? I don't want to spend too much in case he decides that the guitar isn't his thing after all. What would you recommend? Nowadays the guitar market is pretty competitive. If you look at the new guitar market for the beginner end of the scale, the more budget end of the market, I think it's more competitive than it ever has been, and that's a good thing for people who are buying, because it's quite difficult actually to buy a bad budget guitar. I know when I was first starting, there were some new guitars, they really were cheap and a little bit, not so good in certain ways. But nowadays, because of things like being able to outsource production to the Far East and so on, especially the big manufacturers like Fender with their Squier range and Gibson's Epiphone range, which is their lower end range, being able to manufacture out in the Far East and in really, really huge quantities and getting that economy of scale, they can pass those savings on to the consumer. So for quite a competitive amount of money, you can get a pretty good instrument for something for you to start on. If you're going into the second-hand market, that's when it gets a little bit more variable depending on the age of the guitar and how hard a life it's had before it comes to you. I don't recommend any particular brand over another. It really depends on what style of music you're wanting to play, what kind of guitar you want, how it looks, how it sounds. The best thing is if you can take an experienced guitar player, and whether it's your guitar teacher or just a local guitarist, somebody who plays guitar, can come along with you when you're buying to have a look at a guitar, have a bit of a play of it, and give you just a basic assessment if there's any hidden gotchas there. You can look for things, certain structural things that might affect the way a guitar plays, that to your eye guitar might look okay, but with a more experienced eye might say no, that's something you need to stay away from, or actually no, that's a real bargain, go for it. So drag in some experience to help you.
How much should I practice the guitar for every day? Do I need to practice literally every day?
That's a good question. How much practice is the bare minimum? Generally, I would recommend you should be playing for about minimum of half an hour to 3/4 of an hour a day. If you want to get to grips with the guitar. The more time you can spend practicing, though, the better. Important thing to remember is the difference between practicing and playing. Structure the time that you get with the guitar to make best use of it, and actually practice it. Use exercises and things to focus what you're doing to help you become better, rather than just picking up the guitar and just playing stuff that you already know, because you're not going to progress so much if you just play what you already know. You need to structure your practice time to help you progress and to get better. Whether you should practice every day, I would say yes. It's not if you want to get fit and go to the gym, sometimes it's good to have days off to give you a chance to recover. Not so much with guitar. If you can play and practice every day, then that's really good. But if there's a day where you just really don't feel like practicing, then don't, because your mind's just not going to be, you're not going to be in the right frame of mind, and you're not going to get best value out of it, and you'll end up getting frustrated. So try not to have too many days off, but if there's a day you really don't feel like playing, then don't. But as a general rule, the more practice, the better.
What type of guitar is it that you use in your videos? The orange Strat style one.
I do get asked this quite a lot. What is this guitar? It's not something you're likely to see in the shops at all. It was a one-off custom order from Thompson Guitars. Now, there's a company from way back when called Thompson. It's not that Thompson. This is from Thompson Guitars in Wigan in the UK. I'll put a link to the website down there so you can have a look at what they do. This is one I had custom built for me quite a while ago. It was when I first started really getting into teaching seriously. I wanted a good quality, very versatile instrument, and all purpose built for me to my specifications. Being able to collaborate with Richie Thompson at Thompson Guitars was good, and took my ideas and evolved them and came up with what is, for me, it's the perfect guitar for me. I'll probably get around at some point to doing a more detailed sort of like talk through review type of thing of it, because I know there's a lot of people have expressed an interest in what it is, and it's a really nice guitar. I do quite enjoy just showing it off and talking about it.
What strings and picks do you play with?
Picks and strings is a very subjective, very personal choice. The way your guitar is set up, the way you want to play is going to have an impact on the sort of strings and picks and that you use. Personally, if I'm in standard tuning, I use 9/42s, so that's basically it's a fairly common mainstream, if you like, unimaginative choice of strings. Ernie Ball Super Slinkies is currently my brand of choice. If I'm doing something like down tuned, I've got a guitar that's dropped down a couple of semitones to D, then I'm playing 11 to 54s, Ernie Ball Beefy Slinkies. Just down tuned, you need a slightly thicker string just to handle the lower pitch. In terms of picks, sort of pick of choice until fairly recently have been these, my own PhatPhish picks. These are celluloid 1mm. It's a fairly common sort of pick material. So I use those on the electric. For the acoustic, something slightly thinner, PhatPhish pick again, also celluloid. This is about 0.75 mil, so it's a little bit thinner, and I find that works better on the acoustic. Recently though, I've also been experimenting with these, which I really like. These are Jim Dunlop Big Stubbies. It's a 2mm pick. It's made out of Lexan, which is the same stuff they make bulletproof glass out of. Really hard, not any real flex on it. Contoured, so it fits the hand really well, and because it's made out of Lexan, it's very hard. You get a very sharp attack off the strings, and I'm really liking the feel and sound of that, so that's kind of become my everyday pick of choice. Another one that I do really like is this one. This is a Timber Tones. It's made out of hardwood. This one is Purple Heart. It's quite a harsh, bright sort of sound on the strings. Quite a distinctive tone. I know it sounds a bit weird when you've got electric guitar and effects and amplifiers and so on, to talk about the effect that a pick will have on the sound of the guitar. But it does. It's really nice, and I've lent it to friends and they've played with it and they've noticed the difference in sound as well and really liked it. So there's my picks of choice. Okay, so there's a few questions and answers from out in the mailbox. If there's anything you're wanting to ask me, either ask it through the PhatPhish Facebook page or comment section on this video below on YouTube, or if you want, use the page down here on the PhatPhish website where you can send me a message and give me any feedback on PhatPhish or ask me any questions or whatever that you might have. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in another video sometime soon. Bye for now.